Okay, so we're going to be working a lot in this area. So what we want to do is we want to take this engine protector off and get it out of the road. Now we're going to take the oil filter out. Now, when you go take this cover off of here, there's a spring in here, right there, and there's an O-ring right there on the cover, and the oil filter will pull out of here. Now, you want to look on the oil filter, no O-ring there. There's no O-ring in here. There should be an O-ring on the back side of that oil filter. On the bottom of the motor, there's a drain plug. We will remove it. There'll be a little bit of oil come out of it. The oil filter, we'll go ahead and wipe this out a little bit. Take the cover and wipe it out a little bit. Get the residual oil off of it. Now there's no ring in here. We want to change that. So we gotta get this one out of here. We got a brand new one right here. New O-ring on here. Make sure our spring is still on there. And then there's an O-ring, and it goes right up inside here. Then the new oil filter. This is the oil where the oil goes into it. This is the side the spring goes on. So we'll get it stuck up in there. Make sure it seats into the O-ring. Then we'll go ahead and put the cover back on. Just go ahead and put your bolts in and get them started, and then we're just going to run them up a little bit at a time until we get it tightened up. We'll just take a wrench and we'll double check the tightness of these and make sure that they are snugged right up there. Okay, and we'll go ahead and put that drain plug back in. One thing we want to do is we're going to put our drain plug back in. We always want to put a new crush washer on it so we can make sure that it gets sealed up. Okay, that's back in. Okay, now we've got basically the oil drained out of the motor. What we're going to do is we're going to drain the front down tube, and that's actually the sump where the oil stays. So we'll go ahead and we'll take the drain plug loose, take it out. And we'll let that drain out. Okay, so the oil's drained out of the down tube. Once again, we're going to take our drain plug. We're going to put a new crush washer on it. We're going to go ahead and put this back in for now. Just run it up finger tight. Now, this bike's 30 years old. One of the things that's neglected on a lot of these dry sump motors is inside this tube is where all the oil is. And at the bottom right here where the hose comes out, there's a strainer in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this hose off of here. And we're going to take that strainer out. Okay, so there's the strainer, and actually this strainer actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty clean. So it's got a little bit of metal and stuff on it right there, but for 30 years, yeah, it's pretty good. Now we're gonna clean this all up real good. There's an O-ring right here that seals it. We're gonna go ahead and put a new O-ring on it, and then we're gonna put that all back together. Okay, so we got the screen cleaned up. Didn't find nothing really surprising on it, so that's good. Put a new O-ring on here and put a light coat of oil on it. Now we'll go ahead and put this back up in there. Go ahead and we're going to tighten it up. And while we're tightening, we're going to tighten this back up. And very good. We're going to put the hose back up on here. Tighten the clamp up. And there, got this all back together now. Okay, so we got the oil filter changed. We got the drain plug and everything put back in here. Drain plug here changed. We got this clamp on. The hose and everything's good and tight. We'll double check and make sure everything's good. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the skid plate back on. Of course, I got a little bit of copper never sees on these bolts. Just help lubricate them going back in. And we'll call this done. Five thousandths fits right into that one, so we'll try a 6/1000. Okay, so the 6/1000, it fits in there kind of loose, so we're going to have to go ahead and tighten this valve down a little bit to get it in spec. So once we adjust the valve, we want to try a 5/1000 again just to verify that the adjustment is correct now. Everything's good to go. We snug these down a little bit more with this. We're going to go ahead and put the caps back on the valve adjusters and call this job done. So the next thing is the spark plug. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put a new spark plug in it. Now, the spark plug is kind of an interesting thing when we look at it. It tells us a lot about how this motor's been running. Now, it's winter, and this thing is a little dark, but there's no buildup on it like burning oil or anything like that. So yeah, let's go ahead and we're just going to put a new one in it. We want to before we put the spark plug in, we want to gap it 30/1000, and we'll go ahead and we'll put it in. And make sure you get started in there straight. Okay, so once the spark plug stops, you want to turn it about a quarter of a turn and then call it good. Go ahead and put the boot back on and make sure that it goes clear back on. The wire and the holder, and that's it. Okay, so we've got everything done on the engine. The only thing we got left to do is we got to put the engine oil back in it, and it goes in up here. Okay, we'll go ahead and we'll stick a dipstick in here and look at it, and it shows it's got oil in it. So for right now, we're just going to go ahead and put the cap back on, and we got a couple other things to do here, then we're going to start it up. Okay, so yeah, we've got a lot done on this thing, so I guess everybody's been waiting to see if this will happen or not. So we're going to go ahead and pull the choke on, turn the key on, hit the starter button. Now that we've ran the motor for a few minutes, we want to recheck the oil level. Oil level is right up on the full mark.